Good afternoon, good evening, or good wherever according to your time. How are you doing, guys? Mimi niko salama. So I'm just from my errands. I was feeling really hungry, so don't wonder. Nakula ugali. It's not really lunch, it's not really supper, it's there in between. And ask me why I've decided to cook ugali instead of some noodles, kwa sababu pia sipendi kula kitu mzito mchana. But again, it's not mchana. So I've just made ugali and some greens. Ugali greens and some eggs. So I have heard this something that has been disturbing me for a while. It is about toxicity of work environments. I believe we always pray for a job, and I think even most importantly, or even more importantly than the job itself, it is the work environment, the nature of the work environment, the culture of the work environment. Because tell me, you could be having a very good job, by the way, but the environment might be the most toxic environment you've been subjected into. Number one, the people you are subject to. Sometimes, if, for example, you are leading a group of people, I believe it's not easy. It's not easy. You are a leader of your own, and sometimes you've got your own ideas, your own opinions, and these opinions might be contrary to those of the people you're subject to, or the people that are supervising you. So tell me why your opinions will look like threats, and tell me why that should be the reason as to why you will be utaongeleshwa vibaya, uharibiwe jina, false accusations, people just be rude. And then again, if you are leading a group, the reason I'm bringing up this is I work in an institution where I'm leading a group of people. I work with security. So we are just this subcontracted security company working in an institution, in a university, and I am the project manager of that company in that institution. So I'm heading a group of around 140 people. And you see now, because we are a subcontracted company, we are working for an institution. As a company, we have our own values, and the institution has its own values. And that sometimes, as a leader, sometimes not everybody, because even as I lead these people, I am answerable. In as much as I'm answerable to the operations manager of the company, you see, I'm also subject. There must be somebody allocated in an institution who is overseeing the services offered, who is in control, who is controlling the services that are offered by this subcontracted company. And tell me why, as a leader or as a project manager, it is not every opinion of the person that I'm answerable to, I will not always go by it. Tell me why it is so difficult for people, especially for bosses. Tell me why it is so difficult for them to agree that not every time their ideas will just be blessing. Not every time their reasoning will be perfect. Not every time their ideas will match to your ideas, and you have the right to say no. But then again, we are subjected in this environment where saying no is a whole crime. Saying no is an entire crime. And I have been in this situation, in this scenario, and because I said no, because I could not agree with what my boss was up to, because his idea actually was not aligning to our way of doing things. Tell me why he goes ahead and drafts a very lengthy letter for me, accusing me very negatively. I mean, I have been in that institution for the last 1.5 years, because we started the contract last year in January, and I have been overseeing that group from last year up to date. And all this time I've been receiving accolades, CGO, unafanya kazi mzuri, your leadership is good, blah 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 blah. But tell me why all of a sudden I am the worst person. Tell me why all of a sudden I am the worst person to lead that group, and if I continue being in that institution, then I will end up affecting the performance. I will end up affecting the contract just because I could not say yes. Tell me why your bosses have to be so much toxic when you're not welcoming their ideas. You are a grown up. And you see, this one has been associated to kiburi just because you say, it is like people do not really, it is like people don't understand that we are human beings, we are grown human beings, we know our worth, we understand our line of duty, and we have the mandate to do what we really ought to do as per the contract, provided we are doing the right thing. But tell me, why is it that the bosses will not welcome this thing? Tell me why saying no to a boss sounds like a kiburi to him, and tell me why he now goes ahead to spread the story that your leader akona kiburi, sijua hawezi sikiza, ni kichwa ngumu. Is saying no to what seems to disadvantage you ama the company, does it mean that one is kiburi? Are we not allowed? Don't we have a freedom of expression? Don't we have a freedom of airing our own opinions? Sometimes, and my emphasis is, in as much as we're praying for jobs, we also have the mandate to ask God to connect us to in as much as you're praying for jobs, let this job be connected to a favorable working environment, because you can be performing your duties so well that the job can be very well, actually it can be even very enjoyable, but the environment to which you're performing your duty might be very toxic. And sometimes for us who do not have you see, not everybody has that capacity of handling pressure. For people, if you really do not have the capacity, if you do not have this grace to handle pressure, then you might end up losing hope very easily, very fast. Because sometimes even your own juniors can accuse you for things you've not done. Even your own juniors can come up just with stories and speculations, just especially bearing in mind that when you are leading a group of people, not every person will be loyal to you. Some people will be loyal to your bosses, and sometimes even people will be snitching you to your boss. And at times, not at times, every time, it requires so much grace. It requires so much grace, by the way, to stick to your line of duty, to say yes to what is supposed to be yes and no to what is supposed to be a no. And sometimes it is really very difficult if you've not grown to a capacity of handling this thing. Tell me, utakwanga unaenda brief and then zile vitu napatana na false accusations, vitu zenye hakuna. Yani umepewa, you will find all of a sudden umepewa staff fulani ndo unakaa na wao, sijui ufanyange, sijui umefanya, but then thanks be to God who has really given us so much grace to handle so much work environment. In as much as we pray for jobs, let us also remember to ask God to really position us in environments that are favorable for us, because you can find that job, but the environment, my friend, might not serve you well. Let me continue enjoying my ugali. Bye.